Today, we are continuing our series talking breakout or bust for year two wide receivers. We're going to be looking at what they did in 2023, specifically, right? What did they do in terms of earning targets? What is their current situation? And then what is the likelihood that they're actually going to break out, hit a ceiling potentially in year two? So let's dive right in. We're going to start down in Atlanta with one of my favorite wide receivers. It is Drake London. As a rookie, Drake London was a usage freak of nature, right? He absolutely clears that 17% target share benchmark that we're looking for from rookie wide receivers. He comes in at 29.4%. It does not get better, not only as a rookie, but probably ever for his career. That may be the peak of his target earning abilities, and it happens in year one. So the ceiling is high. I think we know that. And then when you look at, does he have a path to be the number one pass catcher or the wide receiver one in this offense? Well, wide receiver one, yes. That is a clear cut yes. I mean, there's no one else. It's Drake London and nobody in that wide receiver corps as far as I'm concerned. And then obviously, as far as pass catcher number one goes, he's going to be fighting with Kyle Pitts. I think realistically, they're a 1A, 1B. I don't really care who goes first. They're both going to be over a 26, 27% target share and going to be the focal point of the passing game moving forward. Obviously, targets are great, but who is getting them the ball, right? Are they capable of producing high-level production with these types of players? And Desmond Ridder may or may not be able to do that. I don't know if we can really say yes or no at this point. The assumption is no based on his draft capital, where he goes in the NFL draft in 2022, how they treated him behind Marcus Mariota for basically the entirety of the season except for the last couple weeks. So I don't know if we can sit there and say Desmond Ridder's even an average quarterback. So when you take that situation, his rookie production, and we look at some other metrics like his target rate. He earned a 32.4% target rate. That is funneling to that 29% target share. He's able to earn targets, and I don't think that's changing year one to year two. We know the targets are going to be there. He was able to be more productive with Desmond Ridder as well compared to Marcus Mariota, right? If you just take his 4 games with Ridder as a starter, which, again, very, very small sample size. It's not something I want to extrapolate for anything of meaning, but I think it's helpful to look at it. He was on pace for 1,400 yards, granted also 0 touchdowns, in his games played with Desmond Ridder. So that could be an indicator that the offense should be better from a passing standpoint. I think altogether, when you really wrap up this situation, I don't know if you get a true Drake London breakout in 2023. I think ultimately he takes another step forward towards being an elite wide receiver, but the quarterback play needs to step up in order for Drake London to hit his ceiling, right? I think if Drake London's a top 20 wide receiver, we're going to be very, very happy with him, right? But a true breakout for a player of his caliber, with his skill set, his route running, that needs to be top 12. I don't think we get that this year. 2024 is likely the season Drake London really, emerges as a star in the NFL. Moving to our second wide receiver, it is Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts. And when you look at his rookie target share, he does not hit that 17% mark. He comes in at 14%, which is, I think, solid considering I think he was probably overdrafted in the NFL. I don't think a lot of people anticipated him being a second-round pick. End of day 2 made sense, right? Round 3 was, I think, the target area. He goes before that. He puts up a modest 14%. I don't think it's anything spectacular. And now, when you look at the situation, does he have a path to be the wide receiver one? I don't think so. I don't think there's any world he's the wide receiver one. In reality, he's probably fighting for the wide receiver 2 spot behind Josh Downs. Michael Pittman is an alpha. He is an elite route runner. He earns targets at a great clip, and he's just open constantly. So I think Michael Pittman will be Anthony Richardson's, best friend in this offense. And Alec Pierce is going to be fighting for targets with Josh Downs. I think that's where this ends up. If it is Anthony Richardson, let's go with that notion. I don't think that is good for Alec Pierce's fantasy output. Yes, Anthony Richardson is going to have a stronger arm than anybody they played with last year, right? Nick Foles, Sam Ehlinger, the ghost of Matt Ryan. None of those guys really fit Alec Pierce's skill set, right? He is an outside deep threat that can burn. That's what he was good at in college, and he was very good at that as a rookie. But with Anthony Richardson there, while he may have a better arm, volume's going to come down. This offense is going to be extremely run heavy because not only is Anthony Richardson an elite runner, they still have Jonathan Taylor, and Anthony Richardson is coming along as a passer. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to say, let's throw 550 times even for Anthony Richardson as a rookie. So I think volume is going to be a concern. And that aside, I just don't think Alec Pierce is all that good of a wide receiver right now. His route running versus man is above average, right? He's coming in with a 62nd percentile win rate versus man. But against zone, he's abysmal. He has a 5th percentile win rate. It's basically George Pickens' level of ability versus zone. And he's kind of a one-trick pony. He has a limited route tree, runs a ton of 9 routes, corner routes, deep outs. That is where he lives. It's what he did in college. And ultimately, it's going to cap his ceiling because he's not running routes that should garner a ton of targets. He very well could just be an MVS-style player, right? He had concerns with drops year 1. That is a known MVS issue. So I think ultimately I'm not in 2023, and I'm not really in long term. If I can sell Alec Pierce or pretty much anything, I think that's probably a better move. He's going to be a much better NFL wide receiver, and he's going to have more value to the Colts than he ever will in Dynasty. Before we get to the third wide receiver, guys, if you like these videos, if you like this type of content, check out the DLF YouTube membership. We're dropping multiple videos every single month that are exclusive just to our YouTube members. So check that out, guys, on the bonus tier. Help support Addison and myself as we do this year-round for you. All right, guys, let's get back into it. And finally, our last wide receiver. It is a day 3 guy. We're talking Romeo Doubs on the Green Bay Packers. If he doesn't get hurt in week 9, Romeo Doubs is likely clearing that 17% target share mark as a rookie. Instead, he's banged up and basically kind of plays the rest of the season and finishes with a 15.7% target share, leaving something to be desired. When you dig a little bit deeper on Romeo Doubs, right, the target rate is great, right? You're looking at 23.8%. That is solid as a rookie. He was actively earning targets, which honestly was surprising because when you dig into his reception perception, from Matt Harmon, he has a 5th percentile win rate versus man. And for a wide receiver that's lining up outside, roughly 75% of the time, I don't know why he was getting targeted. I don't think that makes any sense. Guys that are not open on the outside, especially against man, which is what they're typically going to see out there, should not be getting targeted at the clip Romeo Doubs was getting targeted. He also brings in, almost a 16% drop rate, which is just insane. And again, I am the loudest one to say drops do not matter for fantasy, but 16% is crazy. I mean, that is just an absurd drop rate. So just things to factor in where I just don't think he's a very good wide receiver. And then I just touched on the quarterback, right? Jordan Love is now in. Aaron Rodgers is out. So what does that quarterback play look like? Who the hell knows? I don't think the Packers know what they're about to get with Jordan Love. I don't think Jordan Love knows what he's about to get with Jordan Love. He just signs a 5th-year extension that really is kind of betting against himself, assuming his 5th-year option wasn't going to get picked up. So it's just a very weird situation that I think is probably going to lead to subpar quarterback play, which is never what you want when trying to predict top 20 breakouts for these types of wide receivers. Romeo Doubs, it feels like a flash in the pan. He's a wide receiver 3 in the NFL. And where they drafted him, right, on day 3, I think that's a good find. Very similar to Alec Pierce. He'll be a better NFL wide receiver than he ever will be in terms of fantasy. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. Again, check out the DLF YouTube membership. If you have questions, comments, drop it down below. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.